If your Hoyas are not growing, it's probably because of one simple reason. A simple reason that is so hard to detect and you don't even know is happening to your Hoyas. They're called flat mites. Flat mites are the bane of my existence, okay? Because you cannot see them with your naked eye. You need a magnifying glass or something stronger to detect that they're even there. But they do leave visible marks on your Hoyas most of the time, so you can tell when they're present. Let me show you a couple of Hoyas, a few Hoyas that I have that are currently going through a false mite infestation or have gone through a false mite infestation and are now recovering. Because I want to show you the difference between each plant and what the presence of false mites look like. This is my Hoya New Guinea Ghost. It's not looking super pretty right now. The leaves look really lackluster. This is what it looked like in its prime, okay? This is probably last summer, this video. Look how gorgeous it looks. Unfortunately, false mites got to it. And let me show you what the scabbing looks like on this plant when it gets infested so you can identify. This is the back of the leaf. Do you see the scabbing and the dryness? This is all indicators. These are all indicators of false mites. The scabbing on the stem of the leaf is also an indicator that there's a false mite infestation. The stem should look more like this green grayish color instead of almost like this old woody covering. But this was infested with false mite. I've been treating it for a really long time. This is the plant that has been dealing with false mites the worst, okay? And I will show you how bad it looks like. This is my Hoya crassipetiolata Splash. This is the sign of really bad false mite infestation. Look at all this ugly scabbing. And I think the tricky part for me with false mites, and I don't know if people can relate, from the front, it looks okay. Like, it doesn't look terrible. This is bad. This is bad. This is why this plant wasn't growing. I'm still treating it, and it actually has a little hint of growth here, but we'll see if the false mites are still present and eat it. This is my Hoya lacunosa mint coin, and I had to actually propagate and restart this plant. It was also infested with false mites. And how did I know that? Because the leaves, when you touched it, even if it wasn't yellowing or there was no visible kind of distress on the leaf, would immediately fall off, meaning that this leaf stem here connecting to the main stem, it was just being eaten up by the false mites. I don't even know what the technical term is, but it caused it to be easily breakable. So I repotted it and I treated it, and now it's growing. These are new leaves and they're perfect so far. Last but not least, this is my other plant. Perfect. She looks perfect from the front. This is a Hoya pubicalyx Splash, and she looks beautiful, right? But again, she's normally a consistent grower. She normally grows quite regularly, and I noticed that the new leaves would, grow, perk up, and then slowly wilt away. That is a sign of potential false mite infestation, is when you can see new growth coming out like this, and you're like super hopeful, super excited, and then out of nowhere, it just kind of it just disappears. It's being eaten up. That's what it is. It's being eaten up by these false mites. So I wanted to show you all these different varieties of plants because, as you can see, how the false mites present themselves on your Hoyas can be so different. That is why it is so tricky to detect them. How I treat for false mites, I actually do a variety of things, really depending on my availability and how lazy or diligent I am. Let's be honest. The first thing that I love to do, and I do this regularly just because I am aware that false mites are present in my collection, so it's impossible for me to detect them all the time. So I shower my plants. In the summer, I shower them aggressively, like in this video. It's my favorite way to water my plant. But in the winter, I will shower them in my bathroom or in my sink. And this is a plant that has been going through weekly showers. And look, this is a new leaf. This also was a new leaf, and there's lots of like new growth. So I think this one is slowly overcoming the false mites, and I will continue to shower this plant. I actually really love showering my plant anyway because it removes all of like the plant dust, etc. And it's just an easy way to really make sure that I soak the potting medium. The second way that I treat false mites is I use a makeup brush. You can use something smaller depending on your plant size, but for my special plants, I will like brush the back of the leaf, brush the stems, like physically remove these stupid false mites, right? I also use a little Q-tip, right? A Q-tip, cotton bud, whatever you call it. And I wet it a little bit, and then I push and press, right? Usually they're here trying to eat the stem of your leaf. Basically, you're just resurfacing and killing them through force. This is another plant that I shower. So I will always shower my plants, always, okay? And this is one that is, again, recovering. Look at all that new growth. This is a beautiful, beautiful leaf. I can't wait for this plant to thrive. And then really the one treatment that I think, you know, people normally do when they're desperate is to use pesticide. So this one is a 3-in-1 garden spray, and I picked this one because it is also a miticide. So it's supposed to kill false mites. I use this rarely personally. Like, I'm not a big fan of using pesticides, especially inside my home. So if I am using this, I tend to use it in the summer when I can spray outdoors. And typically in the winter, I do more of like a maintenance approach, or like the shower approach or the brushing approach. If I find that if I consistently shower my plants, it's generally good. And when I say I shower my plants, I shower from the top, I shower the back of the leaves. I just really like aggressively water pressure it off. Obviously do not use a water pressure machine on your plant. A shower is fine. Or your sink tap where you can, you know, press the button to create a shower effect. But that is one of the main reasons why your Hoya is not growing. I'm sorry to say that.